What says the state? Oh, I haven't heard that in over a decade. Just to know, I'm going to be short. I'm going to be short and brief. But one of the things when you talk about ethics that I think best exemplifies something that occurred during my watch, and when I've been asked by people in the various public presentations I was called upon to make from time to time, what is the difference between a prosecutor and a defense attorney? And resisting the urge to be not so polite, I really tried to explain what the difference was. And you quote Chapter 2 of the Code of Criminal Procedure and the effort to see that justice is done, et cetera, et cetera. But in 1976, I had an occasion to try a case that really brought that home and gave me an example that people could really understand when you explain or try to explain the difference between prosecution and defense. And it was a case involving the second half of the Garth Bates matter, wherein Judge Bates was accused of bribery. Mr. Vance was the lead prosecutor in that case. I sat second, and Henry Onkins sat third. It was an interesting case, and after it was completed and disposed of, came on to be heard the guy that carried the money, the $60,000 from, or actually it's 59, from the safety deposit box to Judge Bates, a guy by the name of Ed Ricklin. And apparently it was Mr. Ricklin's position that the delivery of this, what turned out to be $59,000, was really a gambling debt that he owed to the judge. It was well known they were both big gamblers, and that he had no idea this had anything to do with bribery. After the state put on its evidence and rested, judge, who was a visiting judge, asked Mike Ramsey, who was counsel for the defendant, Ricklin, if he desired to make an opening statement now that the state had rested. And of course Mike did. And the judge turned to the jury panel and again admonished them about what an opening statement was and wasn't evidence, et cetera, et cetera. And while he had the jury's attention talking to him about that, Mike leaned over to Henry and I and said, "Don't you guys dare laugh when I put this bullshit on the jury." I admire Mike. I like him. I think he's a good lawyer. We got along great when I was doing this stuff. And that's not anything degrading his reputation, because he was doing precisely what his role was as a defense attorney. He was to take the position of his client and urge it to his client's best interest during the course of that trial. And that's something he should be doing. And he's not required to believe it. But I found that kind of sad at the time, but I was glad all this happened because it gave me the opportunity to better explain the difference. We as prosecutors got to believe what we're doing is the right thing to do. We're vouching for the credibility of these witnesses. We're saying proceeding in the manner and the way that we are is the proper course of action. And we are required to believe it. And that's a big, big difference. One other point I want to make, I'm going to sit down. You'll find that there are going to be some rules during the course of Mike Anderson's term of office. In my 22 years as district attorney, the operations manual was rather large and thick, and it was there for a reason. And the reason is you don't have 250 or 60 different ways of representing the state of Texas and Harris County, Texas. The office of district attorney is an elected position. The public votes for the person to serve in that capacity with the ideas, concepts, and directions that that person has. And it is unreasonable to think as an assistant DA that you're free to make any kind of decisions you want in administration of justice. You're not. There are going to be rules. Because the public is looking to the head guy to set those standards and rules. If the public doesn't like it, they can do something about it. And I said many, many times in the 5 years I faced the public ballot, 5 terms, if this is not an operation where you dial an 800 number and push 1 if you agree with old Holmes and push 2 if you don't. We do it my way, and when you don't like that, you put somebody else here. And so the elected official has got to set the tone and set the rules and the standards so that you don't have 40 or 250 or however many lawyers there are now going 900 different directions in the administration of justice. Don't resent that. That's proper, and it's in the best interest of the office and later on in your reputation as a member of this office. I'm really, really flattered to be asked to say the damn thing at all. I sure appreciate Senator Rod Keppel. Robin was assistant DA here and has saved our ass many a time, much more than he ever did as an assistant. In the capacity that he's serving in now. Y'all have fun. I'll be 72 on my next birthday. There's not a damn thing I'd have done differently. It's a great job. Enjoy it. Thank you. Back when I was appointed by Governor Clements to fill the unexpired term of Carol Vance, staff members got together and bought me a cap. And that's the cap that says D.A. Houston. And I would ask that you please not ask me why it wasn't presented to Mr. Rosenthal or the late district attorney. Instead, it's being presented to Mike Anderson in the hopes that he will wear it for a long time.
Well, that's going to be a tough act to follow.